The Screen Team is back. Thank you for joining us this evening. We've got movie reviews galore for you, and I'm being joined by my good friend Brad, and Brad and I are getting ready to review a gangster movie for you. But before we get to that, I want to remind you that you can check out The Screen Team. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We got our own YouTube channel, and you can also check us out on our official website at screenteampb.com. And like I said before, Brad's on the show. Brad, you're a fan of gangster movies, right?
I do. I love gangster movies. I've always been a fan of typically it's the Italian mafia style gangster movies, and like Scarface and Goodfellas and things like that. Mm-hmm. And what I really like about gangster movies in general is I just dig how, even though there's that criminal underbelly to it, mm-hmm. they're so businesslike about it. It's like, like when you think of most people who go out and commit the crimes that they commit, usually you think of the scuzzy type of people that just look like they don't belong in society. But these guys look like somebody you could trust when you just walk up to them. Yeah.
So is there a sense of, I don't want to say elegance, but there's a prestige to them in some sense?
There is. If I was going to be any kind of a criminal, I'd want to be in a suit, and I'd want to have the
You do know we're recording this, right?
Oh, of course. If I were going to be, in that line of work.
The movie we're going to be reviewing is a movie called Legend. And this is a gangster movie. It's based on a true story, and it's a different kind of gangster movie in the sense that it's not set in America, it's set in England.
Right. I'd never seen that before. I didn't even think England had it in them to be gangsters. I don't know if I've offended any English people.
I was going the same route. It's like, really?
So proper. You always think of the English proper etiquette and the grammar. They're so polite, mm-hmm. and you just don't think they have it in them to be gangsters. But it is. It's set in the east end of London.
Yeah, and we are dealing with their names are Ronald and Reginald Cray, and these guys are some bad dudes. But not only they bad dudes, they have some, at least with the one Cray brother, he's got a sense of,
kind of like are you saying pride and things like that, or are you talking about the Ronald, the one who actually has the mental?
No, not issues? Ronald. Definitely Reginald. He has, I don't want to say regalness about him, but he's smart. Yes. He's intelligent.
He's somebody that he kind of reminds me of De Niro. De Niro's a very intelligent man, and most of the roles that he plays as far as the gangster roles, he plays an intelligent gangster.
Yes.
He's sort of the brains out of the two, and the level-headed one.
Yeah.
The more, I guess you could say, you could attract a better group of friends. Mm-hmm. And his brother, Ronald, played his twin brother, is actually the same man, obviously, in the same role as Tom Hardy, playing both roles. He had some mental issues which kept him from being...
Yeah, he's definitely a firecracker in this movie.
He is. He looks like he'd be very difficult to deal with. And apparently this is all based on a real story about the Cray brothers in the East End of London in the 50s and 60s. There were really gangsters by these people's names, and this story is based on their life up until their imprisonment and finally death.
Yeah. What drew me to this movie, and I had never heard of it when it was... in production and stuff like that, but it was Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is one of my favorite new actors of his generation. He is just brilliant. He's been in movies like Inception. If you saw Dark Knight Rises, he played Bane in that.
Black Hawk Down, that was his debut role.
Oh yeah, Black Hawk Down. Yeah. He's been in a lot of stuff, man. Very, very good actor. And I was like, wow, he's going to be in this. He's going to play the two different roles, the same.
Oh, definitely.
He's playing twins and.
What amazed me about his performance in particular was I had not seen him in any movie. I've not seen Black Hawk Down, sadly.
That's good. That's really good.
But, I'd heard of Tom Hardy, and I was excited to see this movie because I like gangster movies anyway, and I realized he was playing the twin brother roles. And there's a logistical nightmare with that. I'm not a director by any means, but I definitely could see how trying to act along with yourself outside of yourself would be a very difficult thing. And he pulls off playing two different people very well. I mean, there's no point in the movie where you have any doubts as to which of the two characters you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. And I just can't imagine how difficult that would be to act when you're not really acting with yourself. You're just acting against thin air, I assume, and he's able to pull off both believably.
He does.
He's an excellent actor. He must be a method actor because he seems to really get into the roles.
Yeah. Reginald, the more solid, more grounded brother. Mm-hmm. He is dealing with some multiple issues. He's a gangster. He's got a business he's got to take care of, but he's fallen in love.
Right.
He's found a girl that he likes and wants to spend his life with, but he's got 1 foot in that world and 1 foot in the gangster world, and then like another foot with his twin brother who's just bonkers. So he's got a lot on his plate.
And in the movie, he ends up, Reginald, the more level-headed one, ends up in prison for a while, and Ronald ends up taking over the nightclub business that they are running.
Yeah.
And it just falls to shambles. And apparently this really happened. This is a real thing. He came out of prison and had to, I guess he kind of went into fisticuffs with his brother, which actually was my favorite scene. I don't know if you're going to ask what my favorite scene was, but that was it, where he's fighting himself, basically.
That's right.
In the movie, and it was just comical, actually, the things that they do in the fight. If you haven't seen it, you need to rewind that part over and over and watch it. You'll laugh at it.
So it sounds like, from your tone here, Brad, that you liked the movie. Is that fair to say?
I really liked it, yeah.
And you got to watch it with your wife. What did she think about the movie?
She liked it as well. She typically likes drama and action. Of course, she's my wife, and actually being a woman typically likes more of the dramatic side, but she really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
She sat there on the couch with me, and we ate some popcorn and drank some soda and watched this movie, and kids were in bed. Something that really not designed for kids. The language is a little rough. I don't recall any sex scenes or anything like that, but
you're right about the language. There is some violence, but I guess one of the points where it was a little down for me, like when I watch gangster movies, I want to see some violence.
Oh, definitely.
And I thought that was a little bit lacking in this film, because they show a lot of the scenes where Reginald's trying to court his girl and stuff like that. So I wish there was a little bit more of the
violent aspect of it.
If I see a gangster movie, I want to see some people going down.
When I first saw Reginald interact with someone at a restaurant, I think on his first date with his love interest, I remember there was a scene where he actually punched the guy. The guy was blindsided by it. And I'm like, that's true gangster style right there. And then he walks back off to his date, and she has no idea what he just did. And I like that. He can pull off the two-face gangster thing real well.
So you liked it. You saw it. Is this a movie maybe you want to see again and again, or is once enough for you?
I think I could probably watch it again and really focus more on the storyline. I was watching it to see, exactly like you said, to see how it matched up to other gangster movies, and it has a little bit of different kind of feel to it than other gangster movies. It still has some violence and the typical, they're wearing their zoot suit kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have as much of the violent aspect of it, and the storyline's really in depth. And if you compare it to the actual story of the Cray brothers, who it's based on, they've done a really good job of I wasn't there actually in the actual the time period, but because it was the 50s and 60s, but they did a good job of sticking to the fidelity of that story.
All right, there you go. The movie is called Legend. It stars Tom Hardy, and you can find it on DVD. Coming up after the break, we've got a review of the comedy Animal House. It's next on KWOC.